Hey, my honey sparkles. This is Madam Equilibrium, and here we go, illuminating the genesis of my Pomodoros. The root of this video is that I read some first comments, particularly under my Pomodoros, and recognized that my Pomos might create a wrong signal or picture of their origins. Since we are still at the beginning of those helping, aka supporting tools of 2026, which include my Pomodoros as well, I find it very important to stay by its true nature and to openly talk about it. So in the next couple of minutes, I want to gently illuminate the genesis of my Pomodoros for you. First of all, yes, they are multi-purpose tools, so you're of course welcome to use my Pomodoros in multiple ways you see fit for yourself individually. But in fact, they're not meant to act just and only as pushing tools, especially not for Earth-made, aka human-generated pressure, which will never stop bombing tense pressure onto us anyway. First and foremost, they are meant to be helping tools, intended to serve as instruments of divine support for grounding as well as calming your system down, especially in very tense, stressful times for healing and balancing in general. So even if you actually decide to use those pomos while working, because you perhaps are struggling finding balance and inner peace, you hopefully, even while working, have the given chance to find your very inner peaceful island, your altar, so to speak, your very inner balance, even when the storm rages around your inner peaceful island, wanting to unsettle your spirit, you stay grounded and calm. Okay? Well, maybe my pomos are not perfect, but hey, what's perfect? Well, I'm not doing it because of any perfectionism at all. No, I've been there. In my work life as well as in my all-day life. I was there deeply, so deep actually that I nowadays sometimes still have to say to myself, hey girl, it's okay, calm down. And guess what? Things go even more fluidly smooth and carry so much meaning to them. Because now everything comes from the heart's genesis, from the divine source. Well, not that I did things without heart or even within aggression or so. Of course, I always very carefully did and still continue to do things with gentle awareness by staying true to myself and my heart. I just loved and honestly still love and very much appreciate when things are aesthetic, not only to my eyes, and so caress my soul, through which I feel deeply grateful and fulfilled. You can imagine those sensations as my celestial fool and divine hug as well, so to say. But in general, the meaning nowadays to everything what I do is so deeply connected to my divine source, to the matrix. And so do you, my honey sparkles. Yes, I feel you. I have always felt you actually, and I'm deeply sorry that I couldn't be there before, even though I was actually there. I myself also had a divine, tough and rough as well, mighty foggy journey on this planet called Earth, through which I had to travel through first. And my very journey is not over yet. Well, I know from my source that my spirit, including all the knowledge, lessons, and wisdom which was gifted to me by the source and which I learned while existing here on this harsh planet for a while, is ever imprinted to the matrix's frequencies. So are yours as well, by the way. and will still be around to help improving your souls for good, even when my avatar is no more lingering on this rough planet. Despite of the circumstances on this planet, they lead me to who I am now, to a hopefully better version of myself. Well, again, I'm not perfect. Don't confuse that, honey. I am not saying that I'm perfect. I am still and just an ordinary, regular student of the divine source. So, meaning, I of course had to gain additional needed knowledge to come to a point at which I was able to receive, decipher, and translate all incoming as well as outgoing divine messages for you, my honey sparkles, with care and very properly. As I always say and mention, I do not, well, we do not do part-time information. We don't walk half away and say, oh, that's harsh or uncomfortable. No, we dive in. We dive in full awareness. We dive deep and even deeper into the very core in order to have any chance to get an overall view of whatever we discuss together here on my channel. And all that within the fundament of respect, empathy, honesty, truth, and love. Yes, I know it's not that easy. Diving deep, asking questions is not something that here on this earth is well regarded, I know. But do it. Go for it. Ask your questions. And if you don't get proper answers, go do your research by diving into the core of any topic. Because the reason why you don't get proper answers is the fact that they either don't want to give you any information at all, or you let them feel uncomfortable because they just don't know it, but aren't able to keep their ego aside and tell you openly that their limit has arrived. See? What they are doing then is to label you as crazy or hysteric even, and want to shut you, aka your curiosity, down so that you never dare to ask them questions again. See again? Those are not your limits. Those are their limits. Therefore, dig deep and even way, way deeper to the core and beyond, and find your proper answers. But don't forget to remind yourself, don't act in an aggressive sense, but always in stillness, in silence, in calmness, and in balance within equilibrium. Okay? And for me, actually, there is no other way to do that. Either I am fully there now or not. It's that simple. In fact, I would do mighty injustice if I would hold all the gifted and assembled knowledge within myself. Because let me tell you one thing. Generally speaking, the nature of knowledge itself is meant for us all. And in my case, I'm just a tiny grain of sand, nowhere and everywhere. Or as I always say in my videos, I'm just a vessel, a soul traveling through light and darkness, translating everything and nothing for the highest good of all existence. Because this planet, this world is tough and rough and dangerous, even though the planet itself is beautiful. What makes this planet rough and unpredictable is the muddy nature of some harmful, greedy, egoistical, as well as narcissistic human beings, which often seem to be placed on very spots on purpose, just to act violently towards humanity even. And that's actually, and also in much cases, unfortunately true. Because even though they cause trouble or destruction. They are there to give us lessons. Yes, you heard right. They are lessons from whom we should gain knowledge about humanity, but especially about yourself. Foremost and preferably voluntarily, aka the easy way, by your own free will. Why free will? Well, when you consciously recalibrate yourself and so generate calmness as well as balance within yourself and act with full awareness instead of being, let's say, blind, nothing can make you feel dizzy. So, with that knowing, you would probably prefer to go through seemingly difficulties by your own free will, because then you put yourself in a mighty solid position to handle things way more in ease, which then leads to the fact that everything will move effortlessly fluid, meaning you are still in a calm state because you protected it by staying true to yourself. And so you can continue to mind your thing, plus with way more time left for you individually and still in peace, by the way. Let's talk about this productive thing again. Being productive doesn't mean you have to hustle in pressure and tense energies, in stress, and have to sacrifice your beautiful divine time, even, which you need, in fact, for your very own healing. No, this is a programming, even a false imprint. They, as soon as you arrive on this realm called Earth, want to keep in within us to enslave us for their often disgusting business. I know at the very beginning as a kid, you don't really have the chance to do anything. But here comes a mighty good news one. But as soon as you recognize yourself or have your awakening, you can do a lot. Really a lot. Okay? Remember that. And this is what scares those narcissistic ones to their muddy core. And so this is why nowadays, in which we all sense and actually live this spiritual shift, well, because now nobody can escape from the energies. Now they are much more, way more aggressive, destructive, and violent towards the whole planet and their inhabitants. They cause trouble, they cause injustice, they cause wars, they cause fear, they cause especially separation with all that aggressive behavior. Why? Well, easy. When they separate us and destroy our divine, vibrant connection to our brothers and sisters within the matrix, then they know that we are defenseless, exposed even to their mercy. And we don't want their false mercy. No, no. We, in fact, don't need any mercy at all because we are divine light beings and we hold tight to our genesis of light, even though we need to go through darkness, which no longer scares us. Well, maybe we are not perfect to their eyes. Well, what can I say? Shit happens, right? That doesn't matter at all. We don't give a damn to be clear, because we know ourselves and that's more than enough. Remember my translations. Being perfect is also just a human generated thing coming from external suspicious forces to push us through unnecessarily harsh and sometimes dangerous situations, while building and imprinting pressure on us, which can unfortunately leave us behind with a huge, questionable, and uncertain impact on us as well. We, in fact, within our true nature, deeply know that we don't want to go through, right? What's happening is that we then feel defenseless, incomplete, and unfortunately often as a failure as well, which can lead to tense and dense energies like depression, violence, moodiness, aggression, and make us believe that we now need again external help, so to say, to again be someone. Yes, you're right. This is what they want. Because then you are easy to manipulate psychologically. And the psyche, your psyche, is one of their aims on their way to shatter your inner essence. Because your psyche is connected to your soul, and your soul is connected to your heart, and they're all interconnected, vibrant energies ever supporting each other. Divine instruments nourishing as well as fortifying your avatar for as long as your avatar lingers upon this earth. To hold all those mighty celestial energies they want to forcefully scratch and grab from us. Okay? Yes, you heard right. Again, our vessels remain on this realm called Earth only, meaning that our physical avatar exists and belongs only to this realm until our avatar dies, because your divine spirit has left its vessel. Only your spirit, your soul's energies and frequencies, your divine DNA, so to say, travels further. By the way, yes, we talk about humans and the realm of Earth, but in fact, all this is not only a human thing. Even the vessels of deities, gods, and goddesses, and what we call supernatural entities are meant to remain where they belong until they also complete their mission, so to say, or paid their karma back. Well, it has to be like that, very shortly explained, because your spirit is maybe meant to reincarnate as another celestial being, another creature, a supernatural being even, another human, another animal in this or in another galaxy. Or either you have to struggle because of, for example, karma, or allowed to finally rest in peace. It depends, as mentioned, on our very individual karma, actually, because nobody can escape karma. Nobody. No spirit, no ghost, no supernatural entity, even the gods and goddesses can't escape karma. Let this sink in. And now, with this knowing or remembering, I invite you to think about for a moment what suspicious forces are ever trying to ridiculously bump onto us on this earth, in which each vessel is not going to last forever, in which just nobody, without exceptions, can take money, any materialistic matter, or on some paper written titles, doesn't matter if good or bad, with them, when the soul's mission here on earth is completed. Every matter, including your vessel, remains to earth. Period. Just period. As we now, in this case, let the thoughts pass through. Don't get attached to them, honey. Don't get attached to them. Just let them pass, okay, love? Let them pass. We see a clear overall picture about how poorly ridiculous all that aggressive and unfortunately often fanatic drive for power on this ephemeral earth actually is, right? And then they really think they act, aka play, their often disgusting games supervisedly and intelligently. Goodness, no. No, no, no. Guess what? Have you an intuitive shot about what information is coming next? I sense that the majority of you already know the answer. Well, okay, then let's move on. It's them, my honey sparkles. It's them themselves only. They themselves struggle with themselves. They are the ones who do not know what to do with their existence. Well, we clearly all see and witness all that super strange behavior nowadays, right? So, and with that, by the way, self-created, distorted self-perception, they relentlessly and without any hesitation at all drive forward toward humanity by using manipulation, by using devastating mechanisms and tactics like gaslighting or blackmailing with a huge amount of egoistical, ruthless efficiency. They also do not hesitate to trick every soul when needed to achieve their goals. So it can happen that you, as a soul who is perhaps, maybe for the first time, searching for spiritual answers, get unfortunately tricked by them. Yes, they have good trickster skills. Yeah, maybe. Well, but let me tell you one thing. You are a mighty trickster as well. If you need to be one, for good. Remember to use this skill just and only for good. For your own protection, for example. Because sometimes we need to be trickstery, not to get tricked by any mean trickster who is up to no good anyway. You don't have to believe me. Actually, don't believe me, okay? But try it out for yourself just once and you'll see. You can play those games way better and smoothly, my sparkles. Why? Easy, my love, because you play by truth. You play with your divinity. You play with your humanity. You play with your heart. You play with love and maybe with fun even, but foremost within a calm state. And this makes you immensely powerful as well as flexible and fluid. So whereas they have to first think about the next step and need to figure out a new strategy by creating some step-by-step plans, you can effortlessly decipher their poor place and are able to easily switch with your fluidness in between and make them feel dizzy without being hurtful whatsoever, just by staying calm and within your truth. It's kind of like playing Sherlock Holmes, and that's actually a bit funny and exciting, isn't it? But hey, don't get me wrong, don't confuse what I'm saying here, my sparkles. To make it very clear, I am not saying be aggressive or violent. I am not saying do likewise and play dirty games as well. I am not saying generate fights for fun. I am also not saying entertain their dirty fights or their plays. No. I am saying stay in the middle. Stay calm. Stay true to yourself only. Focus your energies towards your balance. Hold tight to your inner triquetra of mind, heart, and spirit. Recalibrate them continuously for good and only for good. And in this calm triquetra state, and only then, you will hopefully experience, maybe for the first time ever, that it is worth it to stay solidly balanced and silent. Okay? And you know what? I'm going to tell you something you perhaps have probably heard in many sugar-coated fluffy ways, which maybe made no sense. But as always, I'm not gonna do that. So, are you ready for the truth? Here we go, straight away. And the truth is silence is the ultimate killer, baby. No perpetrator, no one who is up to no good at all, is not even in the last bit capable to handle silence. Period. This is why they immediately get mad and aggressive and show their muddy origin face to the outside, which we don't entertain, remember? Don't entertain them, just stay calm, leave and walk your truth in peace. Okay, honey sparkle? Otherwise, they won't stop bothering or attacking you anyways. In fact, those creatures were always there and will always be. They won't go, leave, or just disappear for good. No, unfortunately. They have that inner drive which they aren't able to control. It's like an ever-driving program driving them to act in tense and dense ways. Meaning, they struggle with lack of control. They will, because of the inner pressure, continue to make you believe that you are the one who is in urgent need of external tools to be complete. That your soul is not worth it. That you, in their eyes, don't work as you should. That your heart is too soft. That your body is too weak, that your whole system needs physical and psychological surgery, so to speak, to make you seemingly fit again and be worth it for this planet called Earth, for them to make a soulless and defenseless puppet out of you. See, it's a circle, a wheel they want us fiercely kept in for their benefit and amusement, ever circling around, or to be more specific, ever get circled around, like crazy, to get labeled as crazy. And what's happening next? Well, when they achieved at this point, they hit their first, but for them necessary first goal by labeling you as a small fry, a shadow, so to say, someone who has nothing to say, who now has no chance to have an impact on them anymore, a ghost, a nobody even, who they don't need to fear once they blackmailed and gaslighted your good reputation. And by doing so, scratched you out of any societal circles or circle. Recognize something? I wanted to illuminate the purpose of my Pomodoros, but ended up translating for you everything and nothing by surrendering to the divine. And even this is multi-purpose now, because in the moment when I start to work something out, I generally just let go and flow with the divine flow and translate for you what Spirit wants me to translate. Well, there is no space to do it any other way, because if I would ignore the information coming from the flow, aka source, as I said before, I would do injustice to you, my sparkles. And this is what I don't want. Remember, we don't do part-time translations. No. I want you to have all information, aka translations, coming through, for having a vast, ever vibrating picture for each individual soul of yours. Okay, now we come back to the point of the point, and the point today is a perspective switch in the matter of my previous and future Pomodoros. The genesis, aka the core nature of my Pomodoros, is to give you a place where you can lock out of all the external influences, which are maybe overwhelming you. Tiny islands of silence, altars, as well as sanctuaries of peace, where any soul has the chance to may rest. catch a breath, and feel consciously its heartbeat again, maybe, and absorb nothing, nothing but yourself only. See, my Pomodoros aren't just about being productive or pushing through something. They are not about pressure or working out some worth. No, this is not the picture or idea I want to give you. No, no. The world is restless enough by its own nature, especially in this year of 2026, in which the feverish outside world blazes within the energies of the fire horse, who is, since the era of Aquarius, already fired up. And Aquarius, aka the element of air, however, will gift the fire horse with its necessary air to make sure that its era will stay fiery until the next era arrives, which is going to be the era of the fire goat. And the goat, however, fits perfectly, considering the fact that our Capricorn, which is actually a goat as well, has already in 2025 solidly prepared a massive stable foundation for us in order for us to always have a secure, robust anchor to tightly hold on to, especially in times in which we feel unstable. And even though our Aquarius, aka the element of air, is so airy right now, we need to remember that the common ruler planet of both Capricorn and Aquarius is our planet of structure, Saturn, meaning they non-stop strongly worked together to create stability for us all. At least since the era of Libra in 2025, the work of Capricorn and Aquarius was and still is literally a silver lining. See, there will be fire for a long period of time. So we need to gain knowledge about the occult, aka the hidden. We need to learn about ourselves, kind of literally have dates with ourselves, to explore our within, to ask ourselves questions like, hey self, let's get to know each other and have a chatty chat. And this is going to shift your awareness to yourself. And not only that, this will also help you to hold discipline and create a solid structure, which is very important within especially those times of so much fire. Well, talking about Sherlock Holmes, also even he needs to create a solid structure, especially in his mind for his work as a detective. He also has to declutter what is unnecessary and has to stay disciplined to be even able to follow his task properly. And I know discipline can sound harsh for some, but it isn't. It is actually a warm hug by Spirit, who wants to make sure that we are all safe and sound within all that fiery turbulence around us. It's kind of funny, isn't it? And it should be like that. You can have serious conversations by having fun as well. No one but external others are telling us that it is strange and not normal to talk to yourself, to have conversations with yourself, to be kind to yourself, to care for yourself, to love yourself, so on and so forth. It is an immediate external programming right when we were born to let us believe that something is not okay with us, to keep us small, silent in an unhealthy way, and so controllable as well as predictable. And here's a further info, which hopefully helps you to understand spirituality and yourself at least a bit better. talking to or with yourself is not strange. It doesn't mean that you are crazy or that you need external help. On the very contrary. And this following information you will hear very, very rarely. And when you hear that, you will hear that only from very proper healers or practitioners who know themselves. Meaning, when you talk to or with yourself, you actually have fundamentally serious as well as heart-to-heart conversations with your future, aka higher self, who appreciate the fact that you have these conversations. And your future, aka higher self, is there for you to help you improving your soul with divine knowledge you need to survive on this planet in order for you to have a more calm life or reincarnation later on, maybe. Hand on your heart to those who do that regularly. You did appreciatively recognize already in the moments or after having those conversations that you feel lighter, more mind sharpened, extremely energized, and that great, even futuristic ideas just fluidly flow like water. And you can help. You can't wait. You can't help starting to create everything what comes into your mind. Right, Jasper? Take a deep breath. Easy now. Everything is all right. Nothing to be scared of. Spirit just gave me especially this particular name because you, Jasper, you were searching for a particular way, a very specific answer. Only you know about it. And in order to have a glimpse about how to move on, Spirit kindly gave you a warm nudge. So you landed here in this very video, which, remember, should, in my first intention, only act as an illumination for my Pomodoros, but ended up being a whole divine translation for good. To all the others who are not Jasper, don't worry or get confused. Of course, all my translations and also this one is for us all. But mentioning Jasper by name was actually a loud spiritual nudge to me. Spirit deeply wanted me to call his or her name to awaken the heart's chakra of our sibling again. So yes, it can of course happen that in another video, perhaps I'll gonna shout out your name as well, because within another topic, you are maybe the one who is searching for answers, and Spirit wants me to call out your name or even other details which you know only. Because only you, my sparkles, not me, not anyone, you only can feel, deeply feel and sense if you are the one who get to receive a specific translation with which you can spiritually work with for your own very individual healing process. And hey, I don't know any one of you. I just feel the souls pulsating within our common divine matrix. Until all of a sudden, Spirit shouted out a name. And to do justice, remember we had that topic before. I had to call out the name. The vibration of the name had to find its frequency to arrive where it belongs, to nudge the soul softly and awaken the heart's chakra of our brother or sister again. And don't forget to remember that at any time, this can be you and me as well. So well, we in fact all somehow ended up here, right? To explore and receive divine messages. And I am thankful for that because see, now I know why this video needed to exist in this realm called Earth. Or should I say YouTube? Anyhow, it's there for you now, for good. Okay, my honey sparkles? Well, speaking of pulsating heart within the matrix, I know that you know who you are because Spirit is continuously telling and showing me that some silent, grateful droplets are softly falling. With that saying, I'm called to stop right here at this point. As the final leaf falls now through the frequencies of our common divine matrix, and for all who need or just want to have some, I send warm divine hugs and leave you gently to it. And in this sense, bye bye, my honey sparkles. Love you lots.